Drake, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Pastor Jay?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So, how was your weekend before opening prayer?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Okay. All right. All right. Because you did some things. You saw Spider-Man, but we're going to go ahead and get started in prayer. Oh, gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you today. We thank you for this opportunity to come together and share our thoughts and our hearts with the people of God and the people who are not of God. But we hope that it will penetrate their heart and they will have some information that they can use during this season, Lord. We thank you in advance for all those who would listen and all those who would listen after the show is over. It's in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So, T. Drake, what's
Amen.
going on?
With
Our
the cuffing season?
no, our sponsors.
Oh, yes. Do you have one too? Or you just wanted me to talk
Yeah,
about mine?
you read yours and I'll do mine.
Okay. So my sponsor is today is Stash, and the flavor of tea is green tea jasmine blossom. So that's my tea for today.
And my sponsor is Black Coffee from um, um, somewhere foreign.
What?
My kids send me a subscription. Um,
Yeah.
I can't remember where this cup is from, but it's a blend. So yeah, it's. I got black coffee coming from all over the world every month. I get a bag of coffee from my kids. So coffee in general. Um,
You're an international coffee.
yeah, from all over the world. That's the sponsor that I'm gonna put up. So today is an awesome day because we are sliding into, coming to the end of, but never ending cuffing season, where people date and try to
Mhm.
get with people and start relationships, and under unique circumstance of this time, where getting together physically is not warranted and not encouraged. We have the phenomenon called online dating. And we're going to talk about that today. And on my side, I put online dating love or loser because I was doing some research last night and I was just blown away by this industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I learned that there's over 1,500 dating sites, 1,500 and growing. And you have niche
Mhm.
dating sites due to a sexual orientation, ethnicity, income, religion. I mean, you could literally be on every dating site. Just imagine just being on 1,500 dating sites. So Tanika, I just want you to start with this because again, I will admit I've never been on one. I don't know anything about it, but what I've learned about it scares me because what I found out also is that out of 800,000 profiles, 10% of them are fake. So that's 80,000 fake profiles, you know? So
Yeah.
that's just unbelievable. Out of 800,000, a million, you talked about 10% of them are fake. And that's scary and that's dangerous. So let's just start off with what is a dating site? What is that?
So, your dating app, for those that don't know, is a place where you go to create a profile about who you are, what you're about, like a miniature bio about you to put out to those who are interested, and of course, dating you. So, you make that so you can reach out to other people, men or women.
And the goal is to do what?
So the normal goal for people is to actually date someone. Some people want to be in a long-term committed relationship. They're so hopeful for love that they are on those sites really looking for someone to be with. However, that might be a small group because the other people that are on there, they might not be looking for that. And we have all these different terms that I will be expressing. You have people that are in the NSF, no, or NSA, sorry, no strings attached type of sexual things. And then you have the BFFs that want BFWs actually when they want friends with benefits, FWBs that way. So they, you don't know exactly what people want until they tell you, and they might just be telling you a lie, regardless of what you put on your profile. That just is able for them to see you and hunt you down and say, "Well, yeah, I just want a long-term relationship," but you find out that they don't, and then, as we found out, you get on the hook, you get scammed, you get schemed, you get catfished, and you don't like that. So sometimes dating apps can be good, and then sometimes they can be extremely dangerous, and people lose money, and sometimes people lose their lives.
Yeah, and and it's kind of interesting you mentioned catfish. There's a whole show that's popular based upon the irregularities or the scamming of dating sites where people are getting hurt, their emotions getting hurt, and what I researched last night, I mean, a very intelligent man spent $300,000 on a dating website. So, and then they
Mhm.
showed that the most people who get scammed are women. This one woman has spent over $10 million
Yep.
not seeing a person. And it's just amazing to me that when we take away the normal dating pattern of moving forward and you put it in the digital world, and we talking about the escalating scales, you know, of gaining yeses to the point, but I don't want to go there right now. I want to ask you something. What's the
Mhm.
mechanics of a dating website? Give me the mechanics of just a normal male female dating website. Tell me how the mechanics work.
Okay, so all they don't all work the same. So I'll give you two different types, right?
Okay.
So one general one, I'll just say a general dating website. You put up your profile, then you send messages back and forth to whomever you like, depending on if you have to pay for it or whatnot. That's one.
Who pay?
Another
Okay,
one
hold,
is
slow, slow down, slow down. Who pays for the profile? I mean, you say pay for it or not? What do you mean? You pay to put your profile up?
in the very beginning, you
Mhm.
have a free amount of things that you can do, right?
Okay.
If you want access to more people or more features of the dating app, you will have to pay.
Okay.
Male and female, women and
Okay.
men have to pay for those features.
Okay. So the first yes is free, and they hope to
Right.
hook you because you want more access. And to
Hmm.
gain more access, it costs.
Right.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so that would be just a general dating app. Now, there's more advanced dating apps where they have a virtual feature and more like a live stream, like how we're doing right now. There is a live stream feature where you go into this particular dating app, you still set up your profile like normal, you have access, and maybe you don't have to pay for premium because now that particular person does their own live stream where either a whole bunch of men or a whole bunch of women can pile in and send comments to that person while they're either dancing or they're doing something, and they can pay that person to do whatever that they want them to do. And these are different sites, so
Okay.
this one would have that aspect, that feature, and you
Of
can talk to
sex.
them like
Of
that.
sex.
No, well,
No?
not always. I mean, there's
Okay.
other sites that are like that.
But
So
you get to watch the person do whatever they do, play the guitar, whatever, whatever, right?
right, or talk or whatever. Yes.
Okay. All right. And they could talk, and they're talking to you personally, and you could pay the site to sit there and talk to them personally. So is this like a peep show? Like, okay, let's say you're sitting there playing your guitar or whatever, and you're talking, and you mean you are talking. I'm paying to talk to you by the minute, and then if my money run out, it go blank. Is that like that?
No, that because that would be a chat line and a different chat line. That
Okay.
this the dating apps. This right here, if you see someone live, virtually live,
Hmm.
you're only talking to them by a chat stream,
Okay.
right? So that feature of audio talking is really not there. They get to talk to you. You just get to write in a chat.
Oh, so let's say in this case, the woman would be talking live, and she would
Right.
be seeing my chat.
Right. And say, hey, there's Pastor Jay. He says, good morning. Hi, Pastor Jay. How are you? So that would be your interaction.
So she's talking to multiple people
Right, as they
at
all come
first,
piling through.
at
Right.
first, and then
Mhm.
if you want to talk to her privately, I gather that's another stage of paying.
That's either another stage of pay, or that has to really do with what the woman wants to do. If she
Okay.
wants to take it from where it is with all the people that are there, because some of this stuff too is for people that like to just see themselves, so they may not ever come out of that area. You may not ever get a chance to talk to them. So it really depends on the person. It's like you said before, it's very individualistic. So
Uh-huh.
it doesn't always have to do with the dating site. It really has to do with the person's preference if they want to come off or they don't want to talk to that person.
Well, I get, and I guess we're going to carry this on as long as we can. We may have to have another session on this because what we I guess the focus on is those who are looking for love, those who are looking for somebody to hook up with, those who are looking for somebody to hook up with and then get hooked themselves to somebody that's not going to reciprocate in that manner. And I guess the whole idea of a dating app or a internet where you're doing it instead of in person in your community on the references of other people. I mean, we talked about that kind of on the show the other day. Um, about how dating used to be you knew somebody and they knew you, so there was an accountability, like the person say, okay, I have a friend who doesn't not dating anybody. But with this, you're just shooting in the wind based upon what you think you want. You design yourself to be what you want to be, and you start trying to forge a relationship through cyberspace. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but at some point on the dating app, the goal is to get a actual physical date, right?
Right, absolutely.
The goal is to set a time, a place so we can meet. Okay.
Hmm.
And I guess my question would be to anybody, and you or somebody, would be how many times have you went through the procedure, set that thing up, and then when you got to the point where you met the person, there was no chemistry. You know what I'm saying? Because there's one thing to be on television, on the internet, and then it's another thing to meet the person. It's like, when you finally meet the person star that you oogled over, and you finally got clay feet. They're not as starry as they are on television.
Hmm.
They normal people, or they're
Right.
strange people.
Hmm.
And I guess what the problem, what I see with that, is that you could be anybody. I mean, you could be anybody. I mean, when I did my research, it's like they'll take one guy's picture. And I didn't realize this. It's like military is the biggest scam. It's like because the person on the end that claims to be in the military can say, "Hey, I can't get to you, but I'm in a foreign country. My account is froze. Can you send me some money and I'll get to you?" And then just when they're supposed to come, they say, "Well, I got deployed. You know, uh, and I'm a little further away. I'm doing a simplistic one. Can you send me more money? And instead of seeing you next week, I'll see you in 2 months, but send me the money and I'll get the ticket now." And it won't fail. And it just goes, it escalates up because of your desire to
Hmm.
want to be with that person based upon what you see and
Or
what you
what you hear.
and what you hear. And
Right.
next thing you know, you're caught into that's that cycle. But then you meet somebody that, and we got to go back to other shows. When you are doing this dating app and you set this meeting, what would you suggest the rules? We gave the rules for it before, but we're going to meet. Should we meet it at the person's house? Should we meet in a public place? Where should we go eat? Should we just have coffee? How should we meet? Should they be able to see where I park? I mean, what are the guidelines for this that protects yourself, male and female? Because there's some crazies out here. I
I
mean, the stories I read was crazy.
Yeah, and I've heard some horrific ones as well, where the people are hurt and are lost their lives, and that's because some of them brought the people back to their homes. So I definitely would agree that you go into a public place, and perhaps not a movie theater to start for a very first date, because darkness and all. Just start somewhere public, walking in a park amount around other people, maybe going to a mall where there's a gazillion people, just somewhere that's got a lot of people. So there are a lot of eyes on you, and you're not in some dark, someplace, dark until you've gotten to know some people. I think going to movies and dinner should be way down the line, because when you go on that as a first date, and I noticed that you're not talking to that person, you're not getting to know them. You're sitting in the dark, you guys have dinner, you talk right there, and then you go to movies, nobody's talking. So in order for you to get to know the person, you should probably put that down for later on. But to get to know the person, you need to have communication to hear how they operate, to hear how they talk. And if you don't get a chance to talk to them in person in a public setting so you can see how they act, you'll never know. They'll never show you their true colors, especially if you're just walking around and you get a chance to walk and talk. You can hear where their mind is at, and if they start to start to drift off, like, you can tell that they weren't really interested, or they just want to go somewhere else, and then they have the right to disappear, and you're not hurt from it. And they can ghost and go away, and you can ghost and go your own way and go find somebody else. But definitely coming out into public settings and leaving the movie part like for later, I think that'd be
Yeah,
a better
yeah.
avenue. Don't bring them to.
Being in the light will definitely
Yeah.
is the better choice versus
Mhm.
starting off in this intimate dark space, and even sharing a meal. You know, mealtime is intimate,
Mhm.
and maybe you need to just walk around the mall for a minute and share a soda. You know what I'm saying? Drink a soda versus sitting down having a meal with them. And even with that, you know, behind the stuff I research, it's scary because I mean, you could be getting set up. I mean, I looked at some stuff, whereas the date, the one person gave a real profile, the other person gave a fake profile, and said something like, "Meet me at the fourth table at the end of Chick-fil-A at 4 o'clock." You show up at 4 o'clock, that person don't show up, but you don't know that who you looking for is not real, and they got a group of people setting you up to rob you.
Uh-huh. Or hurt you. Yep.
You know, you're gonna get
Absolutely.
frustrated and go back to your home, and they following you to your house. But you done had
Mhm.
intimate conversations about, you know, where you work, and they're listening to everything you say and how you move and your background, and they're figuring out some stuff. And then they see your car. Oh yeah, we gonna jack her. We gonna jack him. We gonna roll him. We gonna roll her. You know, this is so dangerous because there's no accountability to nobody, and the dating site is not held responsible when it goes awry. Now, we're not going to discuss when it goes right, because if it goes right, it goes right. You know what I'm saying? You go get married, all that stuff. But when it goes wrong, it could go terribly wrong.
Mhm.
You know, and I have to say, being a pastor, I have married a couple of people off some dating sites. I've had experience with a couple of associates and friends of mine who have met people on dating sites, and out of all of them, let me see, I think out of five, only one is married still,
Mm.
and the others were horrible, to say the least. Some were
Mhm.
downright dangerous because, again, you don't know that person.
Mhm.
And you say, "Well, when I date people, I didn't." But yeah, the old way of dating, somebody knew that person, and there was, like the lady said, you would go into a party, go into a bar, you scan the room, and you would see something. The atmosphere would produce who likes you and you who you like, versus the opportunity to be a jerk on 1,500 sites.
Mhm.
Think about the multiplied foolishness. Yes, there's an opportunity for love 1,500 times, but the exponential, when you got 10% that are lying off the top, and that's the ones that are lying about the profile. We're not talking about the plain weirdos. They're not lying. And to me, it's like internet dating and chat lines are, they're different, but they're kind of the same thing, because you're trying to have a relationship that's, it's personal but impersonal. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's like you really don't know this person.
I do.
You know, and
Right. And
go ahead.
no, go ahead, Pastor Jay.
No,
Finish
go
your
ahead.
thought.
No, because you know more about this than I do as far as just knowing. Go ahead. I got more questions than
Well, I was
answers.
just thinking when you well, I was just thinking when you said that impersonal versus personal. Like when you get on some of these things, it's like that woman who was saying you scan the room. It takes out all of the spontaneity, all of the discovery, and people try to just jump straight to sex.
Hmm.
Pardon me. They want to jump straight to that, and whatever it is, the profiles for each site and the chat lines is their bait and hook. If
Okay.
they bait something, they put their line out there to see what they can grab. If you should so bite, and you do, and now they get a chance to talk to you, you have to listen to what they're saying. On the dating apps, it's always different. In the chat lines, you just got to listen to what the people are saying, men and women. And when they start saying stuff, like I had a conversation with a gentleman, and he was saying, "Well, how do I sound? Would you like to ever meet?" I was like, "I don't know. I'd have to get to know you." "Well, would you like to go out and have fun and relax?" "Yeah, but I still don't know you." "Well, what if we meet?" "Okay. Do you think it would go anywhere?" "I don't know. I don't know you." So they're asking all these questions to force you to start thinking about, well, you should, do all this stuff and then come out of the gate. "Well, I like to have sex." "Well, that's great for you. I'm not really going down that road." Right? So it always seems like at the back of all of this, people just want to have sex. They don't really want to get to know anybody, even though they say they do. Everybody, it seems like that's all they want. And because COVID is so heightened right now and everybody's been sexually frustrated, that's all you get. You don't really get the people that want to find somebody. And if they do, you're gonna have to go through a whole bunch of jerks, a whole bunch of people that are just sexually just out the gate crazy, and you have to go through all these people, even the ones that sound nice. You have to
Right.
go through the crap,
Right.
and
The
then
shark. I mean, you're gonna have to go through the sharks.
right, you have to go through. You have to toss them all out. Like nope, no, 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 and then you think you found one, right?
Right.
It sounds quality. They're articulate. They're well read. All these things that they checked off the boxes for you, so you think. Then here they come out the gate saying something crazy out their mouth, and here they go right back to,
Right.
well, you feel about sex. What?
Well, that's what we
So
talked about all the time. I mean, even with this internet dating, we talked about the setting up the parameters to test the sincerity.
Justin.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
To test the
right,
sincerity of them, because you got to set up your parameters. You just can't keep telling a person about what you want, be keeping it 100, and then you find out that they're just fishing to find a way to get in.
right. So that they can get what they need to get and then move on to the next.
Yeah, and again, with the internet dating, it's so dangerous because you may be exchanging videos, you may be exchanging pictures, you'll get so hooked in that relationship, because it is a relationship of some kind, that
Hmm.
you lose your sense. They even had the one video I looked at, the her job called the like psychiatric ward, because this woman trying to date this man who she don't know sold her house and sent it to this man. And I'm saying, people really, I mean, come on now. Slow down, pump your brakes. And see, that's the bad part about society. Everything is instant now. So dating can be instant. You know what I'm saying? It's basically microwave dating. Pick
Right.
pick out your cup
Right.
of soup that you like and everything that's in it, the guy, the girl, and put her in him or her in the microwave, and it'll come out just like you want it, because the ingredients, the checklist say this person is okay, but you don't know this person. And the fact that even, like I said, 1,500 by religion, Christian dating sites, but the same foods that's on the Christian site may be on the under 30 site,
Mhm.
or the over 40
Right.
site, or the black site, or the professional site, or the cake bake site. It's like you got one person who would not have normal access to all these women and men now have the access to a whole bunch, and they are crazy, scary, harmful. Whereas they were confined to their community. Now they could be everywhere,
Hmm.
you know. And for the ones who start off good, and then all of a sudden they ride down the road with the person, and the person snaps because you told them no. You had a
Yep.
couple of good dates and no physical contact, and they figure, oh, I done took you out for uh, 5 meals and two movies, and bought you some balloons and a stuffed animal. Why aren't you ready to have sex with me?
Right. Why aren't you ready to put out?
You know? And again, it could go both ways. But what I saw statistically, females are getting taken advantage of on these dating apps. So in essence, I would guess that would go also with the chat line. That
Mm-hmm.
females are getting taken advantage of because again, even with the chat line, it's almost like a dating thing because to me, once you start exchanging photos and videos and all that stuff, and it seems like it's a progression. You start with the just the picture, and then it goes to I want more pictures. I want more conversation. I want to occupy more of your time. And one of the pitfalls they were saying that when you do this online dating chat line thing is that when they really are a shark, they try to pull you away from those who protect you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you might bring up the question, well, my friend was wondering, what about this? And they'd be like, why would you listen to your friend? I talk to you every day. I talk to you for hours on end. They don't understand the relationship that we have. A-
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds good because now you sound like, oh, you're just for me. And people don't understand because they don't, yeah, your friends don't realize that you've been on that phone for 3 hours every night with that person. And I think about the productive time that's wasted because we don't understand how to exhibit one of the fruits of the spirit as Christian called self-control, where the time is actually wasted because you spending hours trying to find what I mean, what are what do you act, and again, what is it that people are really trying? Is it they have a lack of friends? Is a lack of communication? What is it really that makes this the way now? With all the horror stories that we do have that we got proof of, just Google it. What would make a person continue to go down that way, Tanika? What make a person go down that way? Is it the hope that you'll eventually, out of all the bums, you'll get a diamond? What is it?
I don't know for all people. I could just speak for me. Sometimes I will think that I can find somebody. Because I did. To be flat honest, that's where I met my ex husband, which we find out he was a terrible shark. But that's where I found that.
No, he was Satan.
So.
He wasn't no shark. He was Satan. Go ahead. We could do a whole
Oh
show
yes,
on
well
him. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
well, so I found from there. So when people hear of these stories, they are like, "Well, I've never met anybody on here that long term." But when you find somebody and you think that that person is the right person because in the beginning, like you say, they don't start out that way. They don't start out doing the way that they become afterwards, and they show you the attention that perhaps you crave from that individual. And I don't know, from your side, Pastor Jay, if that goes back to not getting it in childhood, or what that is, but perhaps that person that is giving you the attentive attention that you desired before, and seeing you as a valuable, worthy person, even though you know how you are with the Lord, it's a little bit different. And I don't know if that's you just craving that, because self-control can still be there, but just having that one individual that's just focused on you, not everybody else, just one person that actually wants to pay attention to you, actually want to listen to you, actually want to be around you. I mean, I don't know
Right.
for the other people, I don't know if they just bored, but
Okay. So, and this is what I'm saying. With you knowing this, okay, listen to what you said. That one person, but that one person is out here on 15 other 100 sites. You really are not the one.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Think about this. When you talk to somebody on chat line, you're talking more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
You might talk to this person for a few hours or talk to this person on a different day. So, but you understand and I get that the person wants to feel special. So you say whatever you need to say to make them feel special as you keep fishing. Because when I saw was when that person that shuts you down, you just move on to the next person that you've been talking to and
Mm-hmm.
see what you can get out of them. And I think the odds or that you will have more losers, more harmful people than you will find that person. Because one of the videos I looked at, the guy said something I thought was interesting. He said, "Why would high value, high dollar people who got it going on do that and expose themselves to that?" And I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." I mean, truly high value people. You're not gonna see Elon Musk on a dating site. You know what I'm saying? You're just not gonna do that. He's not gonna jeopardize himself like that, compromise himself like that. You know, it's almost as if we're maybe in the dating websites, you're searching for something that's not searching for you, and you believe that you can probably come up on it profile wise, and you're looking at enough people with the professional body, the professional look, and you're looking and they're looking, and again with women, these men out here are looking for ways to take advantage based upon your history with dating altogether. You know what I'm saying? They're listening for the end, the words that they may need to say. So with that dating profile like that, you know, do you think that there's more opportunity for find a, as I defined it, a loser than an actual winner? And if the odds are that you're going to continue to find losers, why would you continue to look?
Well, for dating apps, I used to use them,
Uh huh.
but there's way too much dangerous people on there for real. Uh, I don't, and like you sent me that video with that one lady. I didn't feel comfortable keep swiping on people. That it feels wrong. Like I don't like what you look like. Swipe, 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 and it's just like you don't know what kind of type you're looking for, but just swiping people. Like no, no, no. Like I was just like, that's not for me. But like you said, high value people won't be on there because power provides access. Money provides access. So why would they need to be there? Right? They don't need to because they have access to quality people. So they don't never need to be there. Maybe some other people might need to because they don't get to get out as much. So I don't know. Maybe a chance of blue moon, they might meet
Well,
somebody at their job,
well, and
so.
again, the chat line, and again, I guess this is where we say to segue into the chat line, where the dating thing is dangerous at a higher degree. The chat line is less dangerous, but still dangerous at a lower degree. Would you agree with that?
I think
The
so. I
chat line is
mean,
less
because
dangerous.
right, well, yeah, I think it can still be to like you said a lower degree because there's one asset that I can see on the profiles. You put your picture out there, people can see you. So even if you don't ever say you don't even meet anybody out there, you just forget your profile, you leave a picture up there. If you walk into a store, somebody saw your profile, they know who you are, they know what you look like, and they could come up and talk to you. You don't know, well, how'd you find me? Oh, I just remember seeing you somewhere. Not remember you put your profile out there where they can see you. The chat line does not have access to see your picture until you actually give that permission to send that to that person. So you still have that
Anonymity,
anonymous
yeah, anonymity, yeah.
feel, right? Right. So you don't have to worry about, well, are you going to see me? You're going to come stalk me, find me? Because also it gives you another cover because they don't get your personal number until you give it to them. So if you never want to give them your number, they'll never have access to your personal information. And you tell them as much or as little as you like on the phone, and then you get off. I think it'd be a better way just to hear people and hear them talk. And then you don't have to be on there if you don't ever want to be on there for like the rest of the year, the rest of your life. It's fine, but just having that to be able to talk to someone, to listen to how to operate with different people, I think it's also it's helpful. But
Right.
I don't think you're going to find a whole bunch of quality people there either, right?
Well,
So
you have some stories, and maybe we'll get to one or two today. But you know the So okay, the chat we talked about the dating because, like I said, I want to combine the two because we talking about the one who's
Mhm,
is less dangerous. So how does the
mhm.
chat now? From what I understand, to tell me if I'm wrong, the chat line works like this for those ones that's men and women. The women get to put their profile on there for free, and then
Right.
the men get a free teaser trial. And if they want to
Okay.
stay, they have to pay. And if they want to hook up individually, they pay. And the goal is while I'm paying, I got $200. I get so many minutes. Is to fish as many places as I can, talk as much as I can, and try to get that person's personal phone number so I could talk to them
Right.
off my credit that I have at on the chat line. So
Right.
now the shark is in hyper mode because they're paying for it now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like going to a pay lake to go fish. You don't
Mhm,
pay to fish at a pay lake and want to come up empty.
mhm.
The purpose of you paying is you know that with that money they stock the lake full of fish. You know, you're just not going to a
Mhm.
public place and casting something out in the ocean and saying, okay, let me see if I'm gonna catch a fish today. You paid for access to where the fish are, all in this pool.
Right. Yeah.
So they're there,
And with
they have to
mhm,
pay, and they got to shoot
mhm,
their line real quick. So tell me about the
mhm.
experiences with that. Like how does it normally say, hey, how you doing? Now you're free, and I guess you're talking through the system, so they don't have your number, you don't have their number. So tell me how that works. How do you ping in to somebody to talk to them?
Well, apparently there's other chat lines that I didn't know about
Mm-hmm.
because someone told me about when there's a group one and everybody's having a conversation together. So I've never been on that one. I heard
Okay.
about that one. That's a new one to me. But the ones I use, you listen, you listen for the profiles, and you just press a number to continue going to the next, going to the next,
So are you
and then
listening
you
to a
might hear
recorded profile?
yes,
Okay.
or
All
they
right. All
record
right.
it. So, yeah. So
All
you're
right.
not talking live, you just listen. So then you might hear ding, and they'll leave a message to you,
Okay.
or you might hear doo 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 doo, and they want to connect with you, right?
Okay.
So then they want to talk to you. If the connection says they want to connect, and they'll just send you a message, the system will tell you have a message, or the system will say you want to connect. So if the person want to connect, they want to talk to you on the system right then and there. So you connect, and then that's your choice if you want to connect or not. You cannot do it, and then you can talk to them there, and then you either give them a number or you just say no, not interested. Of course, it might cut you out, but that's that's
But when you want to connect, now the clock is running on their end. So they don't want to stay in that
exactly
they don't want to stay in that uh uh frame too long
no
because
right.
the clock is running. You know, whatever it is a minute, it's running. So my goal would be, I guess, to get you to agree to give me your number and talk offline, off the system, right?
Right. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So now you giving a person that you don't know your personal phone
Hmm.
number. So
Right.
that's big access
Yes, it is.
because now the conversation, the harassment, the potential begins. So they call you and
Right.
you say hi Frank, hey T, you know. Now the conversation begins. Now how does the conversation? What is do you see how the conversation goes? Because you know they don't want to waste no time on the free end too. You know what I'm saying? If they're not gonna get
Hmm.
what they want. So to give me an escalating conversation that leads to them hanging up or you hanging up, or give me one of those. How does that normally start off?
To hang up like after the
No, that now that they got your number, y'all start talking, and that person is not getting what they want because what they really want is to have sex.
oh really, you want one of those
Yeah, because I mean the
seriously?
people need to know how this progresses. Because
Okay.
because obviously you heard something in their profile, they heard something in your profile, you've talked briefly on the pay line and they've asked for your number and you give it to them and now the phone call happens. Tell me how it
Yes.
progresses from there.
Okay, so conversation just starts with very shallow surface stuff. How are you doing? All that good stuff. And of course it starts to talk about, it starts to lean in, well, what do you look like? So you give them your stats of how tall you are, your hair color, your eye color, your skin tone, your ethnicity, if you have kids, not kids, divorce, not divorce, whatever, your little stats. And then after they've gotten that, and you progress into more conversations, so what do you like to do? It starts to escalate, and then it starts to move into a little bit of the romantic stuff, depending on which person you're talking to. They start to, well, I like to do this, I like to walk on the beach, I like to, I'm really spontaneous, I'm really a romantic type of person. Are you romantic? Do you like romance? Do you like movies? What do you like to do? What kind of person are you searching for? What type of person? What do you like?
So once
And
you
so
give
they
that
go from
out,
them.
they can mold themselves into that person over the phone.
Right. If you give that out. When you
Okay.
don't give that out,
Okay.
because you told me to give you the one that doesn't. So when you don't, and I might say I don't, they might ask you what type of man. I was like, I don't have a type. Really, you don't have a type? Like height, weight? I don't have a type. And so they might get a little bit angry. So escalation of conversation. So you don't have a type. So then what do you want? What are you really doing on the line? Or are you just wasting time? What do you want? Like, I'm looking for something long term, really, but you don't have a type of man, because I'm just trying to figure out what do you want. It's like respect. The person has respect, and if you start talking about, like, for me, faith is like, oh, you faith, like, okay, I got God. Don't worry about that. Just check mark that. I got God. Oh, okay. And then as they move, progressing to something else, like, well, I like to have a lot of sex. What about you? Like, I'm not in that zone. What? You don't like sex? How do you manage? I manage just fine. Really? You're not interested in it anymore? What has happened to you? I'm fine. So if we ever got together and dated, you and I would never have sex? Possibly not. But what kind of person are you? I can't do this. And then you might have some explicitives before they get off the phone. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and click, and not the click up, but just hang up.
So
Just they don't want that.
so then that's that hang up. But let's go with everything is cool. Uh,
Hmm.
um, when you say give statistics, I mean like your shape, your sizes. I mean, does it get that deep sometime? I guess it can. What you look like, how you
Sometimes,
built up.
well,
Do you have
yeah,
long hair,
sometimes it
short
does.
hair? Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, and you say it all the time, individual. Depending on who's asking the question,
Hmm.
that might be their thing. Like, can you, and some of them will be very crass.
Hmm.
Well, can you tell me what's your, your chest size?
Right.
Like, wow, that's kind of
Right. Your
bold.
measurements. Yeah.
And right, and they might be even bolder to ask some more intimate things, and you probably might X the conversation, like, I don't want to discuss that with you. I don't know you. We won't be talking about that type of stuff, about the sexual lane at all. Zero tolerance of that.
But see
And then they'll be upset, like,
right. And think about it. This is why I want to combine the two because the normal goal is to have some kind of relationship. So let's go with the one that all the boxes have been checked. You didn't check the box, and now it's time. You guys set up a time to meet.
hmm
You guys set up a time to meet. Okay. You really don't know this person. You set up a time to meet. So then we fall back onto public places.
right.
Right. And I remember you was telling me about the one with you actually got at the coffee house. I mean, you haven't talked to him again, have you?
No. No.
So what do you think? Let me ask you this. You know, you met the guy at the coffee house, y'all had tea at the tea house, whatever. And the
Mhm.
conversation by what you said was pretty, I mean, it wasn't crass. It wasn't crass, it wasn't ugly, it wasn't sexual,
No.
it was above board. But you felt there was an underlying something that once it was over, it was done.
Right. Right. I could kind of tell, and that's what I want to help people understand. You could use a chat line, you could use a dating site as much as you like, but doing a public place puts you in control of said event and activity. And when you get around that person, you can tell, just like the lady was saying, scanning the room. You can tell that person in your presence if they're really into you like that, or they're just, there's something else, and they don't have to say there's anything else. They don't have to say they're there for nefarious purposes. They don't have to put it out there that they want some sex. They don't have to do that. It's just the mannerism in which they talk, the mannerism in which they walk with you, the mannerism in which they speak. You can tell that they wanted something else, and you didn't give them the other thing that they were wanting, because perhaps for the individual that I went to go meet, they were thinking that I was going to take them somewhere else. And what I did was take them and walk around my little city and go right back to the couple. We did like a little circle. I'm pretty sure he didn't want to see the stupid city, and I'm sure he didn't want to go back to the coffee house. He didn't want that. He wanted something else. I did not give him something else. I didn't know he wanted something else, but I could tell that he wasn't feeling it, you know?
Right. He was hoping that, okay, we done with the walk, now we could do something else. Or no,
Right,
we're done with the coffee, let's go somewhere else. And then you went for a walk. We're done with the walk. Okay, what we gonna do now? And
right.
I'm willing to take off to do whatever. Where are we going to go so we can spend some alone, dark time
Time,
together?
quality time together. Right.
Yeah. And you didn't fall for it. And
Get that. Yeah.
yeah, he excused himself, went to the bathroom, but when he came back, you were gone, and
Yes.
yeah, you know, and 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 it's kind of interesting because both of you agreed. Like once he was like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but you can go ahead and go,"
Mm-hmm.
because he was done. I mean, he didn't get what he wanted, so he wanted it out, and he didn't, and he was like, "I'm gonna, you know." If you go when I get back, it's okay, and that was weird because most people don't do that like that.
Right, because you understand that it's something else, and gave himself two excuses. Well, I gotta go to the restroom, and then right after that, I go back to work. Okay,
Yeah.
well, cool.
Because if you would have
You
said,
know?
"Well, let's go to my place," I bet your work would have disappeared.
Right, I could call in.
Yeah. And for the Christians, for the saints, quit, and you women, especially you women. When a guy say they know God, that doesn't mean they're Christian. Okay?
Mhm.
Just because they know the historical name of Jesus doesn't mean they're a Christian. Just because they know some Bible verses out of context doesn't mean they're Christian. Okay? And you got to quit lowering the bar because you want to hook up with somebody. You want to be because you want to be able to say something to say somebody. Yeah, I found a nice guy and he believed in God. That like sends bells and whistles into my spirit when I hear that because when somebody says they know God, then I ask you, how do you know they know God? What did they say? Because we've done a little experiment where you sent some people that were interested in you to me who said they knew God. And I told you right at the top, they don't know God, they don't know Jesus. They just want me to get in the rubber stamp of approval so they can get back at you. See, what you did was throw up a block, which was a great thing to do. That's what I tell women. That's a great thing to do. Hey, I want you to talk to my friend. You say you know God, he's a pastor, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, most of the time they don't rise to that challenge, they just leave you alone. But then there's
True.
been like two that decided to call me. And once they called me, I could see that you know, they don't know anything about God. They try to be philosophical and deep, but they know the deeper they go without the tenets of Christianity lets me know that they don't really know God. They don't really know the God I know. They don't serve the Jesus I serve. They think they can razzle dazzle you with some of that Middle Eastern Eckhart Tolle type talk. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work on me, you know. And I'm cordial with them. I don't blast them, but you know, they tend to disappear after that because they don't want to jump through them hoops.
Right, absolutely.
They don't want to. They're on a mission, and the mission is I want to get past you so I can get to them, so I can do whatever it is because I'm attracted to profile, conversation, voice, that kind of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody whose voice gets them in trouble. You know that person? You know a person like that?
Nope.
Yeah, they got three or four different kind of voices, and when they get that smoky voice, it gets them in trouble. Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I thought we mutually knew somebody like that, but I guess we don't. But
Yeah. I don't think so.
yeah, but uh, you know, uh, I guess for the saints of God, again, we're not telling people not to use these wonderful inventions, but these inventions are a multi-billion-dollar industry that wants to keep you coming, wants to keep you involved. It's almost like they say they want you to hook up with a person, but think about it. When you hook up, you off the system, you off the grid. There's no more money. But they already know that you're gonna go through a whole bunch of losers and keep trying, and that keeps you paying. That
Hmm.
keeps you in the industry. I mean, when I heard that that guy spent $300,000 and this woman spent $1 million trying to date, I'm like, what is wrong with you? I mean, obviously, you people who do that spend that kind, y'all are well read. It's almost like a cult. See, cults are not, people who are on the bottom level of a lot of education and resources, they tend to not to be the one follow the cult. It's the one who's educated, who has everything going for them, but they want something more.
Hmm.
You call yourself protecting yourself if you high value, high moral person by going on these chat lines and these dating lines, and actually you done jump from the frying pan into the whole grease and fire. You've opened yourself up to more. You think you're protecting yourself because you're got a profile, but you actually giving yourself more exposure. I mean, probably think about this. How many identity thefts are done on these date lines? I mean, the one video I looked at, the guy uses this colonel in the military, like they use his profile, like his picture, like 200 times because he has that certain look, that GI Joe look, you
Yeah.
know. Or or they say look for a picture that's been like doctored up real good, photoshopped real good, you know,
Hmm.
and it hooks people. But the potential of getting hurt, the potential of losing your life, losing your fortune, losing your mind, and I guess what happens with those who starts paying into this system, they just keep paying into it, hoping that it works out. So when they report to their family member, yeah, I spent $300,000, but I got my husband. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've already
Hmm.
spent it, so I got to keep spending it because I can't look like a fool. Because on the day-to-day basis, I make decisions to keep foolish people at bay. But when it comes to this, I'm totally invested and I'm crazy. You know, you
Yeah.
would be surprised at the level of intelligence of the people who fall prey to the chat line and the dating thing, and they are getting taken every day. The guy said he ran up his three credit cards to $300,000. That's a lot.
Hmm.
I can't. What are you paying $300,000 to do?
Hmm.
You mean somebody can convince you to sell your home and you send them the money to a person that you never met or even a person that you
Hmm.
meet? I mean, this is like they said it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and scammers are at the top of the list. And,
Yeah. And
and,
they're
and it segues into when I was doing this research, it segues into the motivational speaking guru people because you take those skills into this dating thing and you just running roughshod through it. I mean, when I looked at this thing, it's like a person can sit down and make a lot of money doing that scam. And it's hard for the government to prosecute people because a lot of it's done overseas. And the country to which what they started off first with, what country you think they start off first with as far as scamming?
Africa,
And what country, what nation, what country in Africa?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Right out the box.
I know.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nigeria and Russia.
Mhm.
Now they scamming Americans, the
Yep.
educated, smart Americans, because we are so flesh driven that we don't know how to bring ourselves under control and analyze and think about what we're doing. My advice would be slow down and think about what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it could end well, but slow down. I mean, it to me it's like you should be having a conversation with a person to really know who they are. If you're gonna do it that way, and this is no cookie cutter thing, but the longer you wait to get together, you'll see if they really want to, if they into you.
True.
And you don't need to tell them your statistics. If you want to tell them how you look, that's fine, but you don't need to tell them where you work. About your children. Yeah, I have them. Well, how old are they? I don't want to share their information right now, and they should respect that. See,
And
that's what I'm
then
saying.
some of
Throw up,
them that can't.
yeah,
Yeah.
throw up stuff. Well,
Mhm.
what size are you? I'm not going to tell you. What difference does it make? We're just talking right now. What does my size have to do
Mhm.
with our conversation? It should have nothing to do with the conversation. If the conversation is good, it's good. It has nothing to do with the size. You know.
And see, that's the funny part, though, that you say that, Pastor Jay, because that statement that you said right there, it has nothing to do with the conversation. When you say stuff like that to people on these chat lines, that's not received well. People will cut you on a heartbeat second when you say that. And I agree with what you're saying. People should respect that. But in this culture, in this day and age, they don't. So like, wow, you kind of got your pants in a bunch. Why you got an attitude? Why you being a big B? And it's just like you can say those things and people just go off on you because rejection of not providing information that they want, they don't like that. Not giving them access to more about what it is. Like you don't you don't get to just have a decent conversation with someone. It's like, I'd rather not discuss that at the moment. Well, wow, you're being a prude. I mean, there's you can't, it's almost like you cannot not say anything without offending people just about your own personal self, and then you just have to kindly just get off before they cut you out. But it's just like occupying people's time and not remembering that, like you said, slow down, but to have the self-control that you can say that. And if they're going to cut you out, then they're not obviously not the person for you. But there's so many people that just they don't like hearing those kind of statements. That's not part of the conversation right now. We're not dealing with that.
Right.
Well, why won't you tell me that? Because I don't have to. Well, you're rude. No,
Well, and again,
it's my prerogative not to tell you.
yeah, and I'm sure. And again, and this normally happens from the man to the woman, not the woman to the man.
Right.
Okay, so we know
Absolutely.
this. So we know that it's linked towards these conversations happening where these men are trying to get in right off the top. Think about it, they're paying for it. So there's an accelerated, I need to get their number and now I can work my magic. But if you go that far, my thing is still set up the go back and listen to our other shows, these boundaries, these traps of telling them no that they may fall into, and then you'll see the real them. They come in like Prince Charming, but they really a shark. They're coming like a puppy, but they really a wolf. Okay, they're coming like a
Mhm.
guppy, but they really a piranha. You have to set up your boundaries, your trigger questions, your trigger responses to see. Because if they're truly a gentleman and all that, you say, you know what, I don't want to really talk about my kids because they're so precious to me, and things are happening now. If they live in America, they know stuff happens to children. So for if I that was somebody said that to me and I was in that room, I'd be like, yeah, I get that. Matter of fact, I would have respect because you're
I would be
protecting
respect exactly.
you're
Right.
protecting what belonged to you. But you,
Hmm.
oh well, my kids are da, 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 da. See, and what they will feed into that is if you want to give up so much of your information, then you desperate because you don't know me from the can of paint. All you know is a voice
Hmm.
and a profile that may not be real. And you'd have told me where you work, how many kids you got, your marriage situation, how your marriage was bad. You told me your sexual preferences. Only thing left is your bank account and your social security number.
Hmm.
And not only could I convince you to meet with me and have sex with me, maybe I can get you to give me some money somehow
Hmm.
and be on about my business.
Very true.
My number can change. You can never find me again.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So T, we've covered this, and I know we haven't covered everything. Um,
Hmm.
Please just Google it for yourself and look for yourself and see. As we're heading towards the end of cuffing season, it never stops. The season is compacted within these 4 months, but it goes way beyond this season. And for my opinion, it's my opinion. You know, love or loser. Mm-mm. I think it's the risk is too great. But if that's what you want to do, just be careful. The risk is too great, especially if you're a woman who has children. You know, the guidelines that we gave you in our other shows, please go back and listen to them and come up with your own to protect yourself and your family, because this could really end bad for you. Think about it. A phone call can get you killed.
Yes.
You know, a phone call could put you on the path to your children getting abused. A phone call could put you on the path to where you lose everything you work for, all because you want companionship. And it's built into us by nature to want this. But at this time, because of the virus, doing it through the internet has become the way to do it. And now, can you imagine how many people have flooded into the dating chat line because of this? There were people there that never done it, but they're with this virus, what's the alternative? Chat line and dating sites.
Hmm.
And now we don't really have to meet because we really can't, but we're gonna risk it and do it anyway. You know. So yeah. So T, that's all I have to add. Do you have anything to add? What are some of them acronyms that you gave, like BFF, and do you have any more before we go? I mean, I want to hear all those. STP, QRD. I'm a square, so I don't know all those stuff. So
No,
do you
I
have?
just I'll probably run them back, but I use today NSA,
Mm.
which is no strings attached, which just means casual sex, and then FW FBW is friends. No, no, FWB. There you go. Friends with benefits. So you're so called a friend, but y'all get to sleep together.
So, but in the NSA and FWB the same thing, or how they're distinctively different?
Yeah, but see, NSA, when it says no strings attached, like you could, be like a one night stand or hit it, quit it, and never see the person again. So and then friends with benefits, you continuously have that person on redial to come and do your little things.
Okay,
So
all right. So yeah, it's interesting. That whole world is interesting. And again, for those who participate, we just want you to be safe.
absolutely,
That's all. We just want you to be
indeed,
safe.
indeed.
We're not against it. It's a personal decision, for each and every individual. But we want everybody to be safe because this dating thing is no joke now. Like I said, you're not getting referred to people by your friends anymore. You're going out here and jumping into the pool, and there's a whole bunch of sharks in that water, and they want to take advantage of you and devour you because you're lonely and you want to have companionship. And some
Hmm.
of the smartest people in the world get hooked and get taken advantage of to the detriment of their health, their wealth, and their well-being. So with that, um, we can end the show. T, do you have anything to add before we go about this?
Uh, Well, just for us, that the podcast Connect Network Club is every Saturday, so it'll be Saturday again. We'll be talking about this over there, and that's 4 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. CST, and then 7 p.m. EST. And whether I'm there or not, they're always having good conversations. So please come out and talk and listen and join in the conversation on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and then I did not start my clubhouse this week. I don't know when I'm gonna start my clubhouse. I've been busy doing some other great things that will be actually codified on this weekend. So, and then I'll be able to talk a little bit more and be in a position to start the clubhouse. So, continue to check out Walker Truth Radio Network on your favorite social media platform of choice. And of course, the Walker Truth Radio Network podcast. All you have to do is search for Walker Truth Radio Network in your search bar. We can be found everywhere and anywhere. And then there's T. Drake, God's gift through his word. Same thing. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You on Twitch. You on Twitch too, right?
Yes, I am.
She's on Twitch and she has a lot of good stuff. And if you really want to learn about podcasting, I would tell you to get in touch with her because she helped bring me along. We're going on 4 years, right?
Yes.
That's an inside joke. I've been on 4 years for 2 years, so yeah, we're going on 4 years now, and you know,
Mhm.
uh, your footprint can be really, really large on the podcasting end and the social media end. And again, and this is what I wanted to say. I told Tanika I wanted to say this. Okay, all of us are here to be heard. All of us are here, want people to hear us. All of us are here for clicks and views. And when you get people who are beefing in the YouTube land and in the internet land and the social media land, and they talk about they're not there for clicks and views, they're lying to you because it's like this. You take a picture and profile it, and then you tell somebody, I don't want to be seen. That doesn't make any sense. If you don't want to be seen and you don't want to be heard, then you won't get on social media and put out content. So yes, all everybody, I don't care how good the content is, I don't care how sincere the content is, they put it out there so somebody can see it. Wouldn't you agree, T?
Of course I do. As content creators, which we are, all of us at different types of levels, that's what we do.
Right. And some look forward to getting paid from it. That's why you see the push for getting 1,000 views and so many hours of people looking at your stuff, and you can get monetized, which means they run commercials in your feed. Okay. But you got to get clicks and views to get to that point. If it's subscriptions and hours, then you are doing titles for clickbait. You are, and there's nothing, and I'm saying it, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like they talk about it, but they're doing the same thing.
Right.
You talk about clickbait, but what are you doing? You're doing clickbait too
For clicks and
for
views.
clicks and views. That's why you're on social media. You're not on social media just to put stuff out there for posterity. And once you die, they'll look at it and say, "Oh, what a smart person you were." You got stuff out there that nobody listened to. Man, come on, man. Y'all got to wake up. Quit being so stupid. Okay,
Just be honest.
just be honest.
Hmm.
Tanika and I are doing this because we want you to listen to what we have to say. Okay, we're not doing this because we don't want you to listen to what we have to say. We're on all the media sites because we want you to listen to what we have to say. And we could get into the YouTube beef and increase our membership tenfold, but we refuse to. We're going to stay above board and do it organically. So we do want you, encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, you know, T Drake, James Sutton II, Walker Truth Radio Network, GGTHW. Follow some of that, Instagram, whatever you want to follow, whatever your genre or your platform you like. Yeah, follow us. But we're not going to sit here and play these games with you. I'm not trying to get to nothing but the people who God has put before me. And I want to do it organically. I want to grow mature wise and strength, but just not blow up for numbers' sake. Yeah, we want to be heard, but we just don't want to get into that fray. Because again, me and Tanika know enough about this that if we really want to get down, we just can jump into the beef. You know what I'm saying, T? We can just jump into the beef.
Yeah, but you did say something earlier. Doxing is real, and I don't want
Yes.
no parts of it. You don't either.
No, I don't want people coming after me that don't know me. You
Right.
know, yeah, see that's a whole nother level because we see that when we've watched it develop over time. And like I said, for
Hmm.
those of content creators, if you just want to get in here and swell up fast, get involved, search out the latest beef. If it's Christian, it's there. If it's secular, it's there. And then jump into the fray and hold on to your hats because you may build your site, but you may have some people coming after you that you don't even know that will literally take your life, follow you, stalk you, and you never met them before.
Hmm.
See, that we back to this weird internet thing that it can be highly dangerous. Okay, so Check out Walk with Truth Radio Network, Walk with Truth Christian Fellowship Church on your favorite platform of choice. My tag is I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and at peace. And always remember, walk in the truth of the Lord. And this is about clicks and views.
Well, then, this is T Drake, your podcasting godmother of connection. And you guys know I always want you to be blessed, motivated, and always inspired to do what God lays on your heart. You guys just be safe out there when you play around with these different sites and chat lines. Just be safe.
All right, T, I'm going to get preacher and I will talk to you in a minute.
Okay, later.
Later. Peace.